Now, I do kind of just want to flip back real quick and see, wasn't 6 an issue? Did somebody say 6 was an issue?
Yeah.
All right.
6 is a typo.
6.
Connect A, B, and C.
Yeah.
A, B, and C.
So I know. Just relax now. You've told me there's, so I'm going to try to make it right. That's what I'm going to try to do. And then we'll discuss it. All right. So we want triangle CBD. Well, I think they meant CB what?
A.
I think they meant CBA. Hey, come on, you're missing some corrections. Shh. I know, by just connecting, right? But I think they either did what? They attached the wrong diagonal, right? So we can either change the diagonal or we can change the letter. I don't really care. I think it's a good proof either way, but I still think we need to adjust it, all right? So the first thing that came to mind was, to me, it'd be better to just change the letter, all right? Then it would be to change the diagonal. That way I don't have to redraw the figure. So I think what they meant was CBA. So let's go back, all right? And let's say CBA. I want triangle or angle CBA to be congruent to, wait, I think I just wrote that down wrong.
CBA.
So hold on. So A, B, D. It should be A, B, C, right? This one. I think I changed the wrong thing. This right here is what I meant to change. That triangle is triangle ABC, right? So ABC is congruent to CD what? A. That's what I think they meant. All right. And so now CBA is congruent. So if that's the case, it should be AD what? Is that right? ADC, right? Go ahead.
That would be the same as like what we tried to do. The CBA is the same as
Well, I'm trying to, well, I think this is what they're trying to tell me, correct? I'm looking right here. I know. I'm just trying to, he's asking me a question. There's lots of things I can change. Can I just make sure him and I are on the same page? That's what I would do for you. He might be right and he might be wrong. I'm trying to figure that out because there was a mistake. So now we're correcting it. Do you understand what I just said? So am I correct in my changes now? Does everybody agree with that? All right, so those minor adjustments, I think we now can make the proof. All right, so now we're going to make our statements and reasons, just to make sure. Is that right or not?
Okay, you put ABB and what ABB and what ABC.
I changed CBA.
Yeah.
angle AB, ABC.
Yeah, instead of ABB, because then again you're getting that diagonal. This would be ABC.
I'm trying to prove this triangle. Let me see. I'm taking your word for it, but I'm trying to prove this triangle, right?
No,
It's not about what it's
for
proving,
the
it's
given.
given.
The
I
AB.
understand that. I understand. You guys are talking for each other. Can I just talk to one person? I'm asking you. I'm trying to prove that triangle is congruent to this triangle. That's all I'm saying, right? So that's what I changed down here, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm looking at this, saying that this angle CBA, I'm saying CBA is congruent to this. What do you want it to say?
Yeah, that's it, but it doesn't say that in the given. What it says
Angle
is
CBA is congruent to ADC.
that's what it's supposed to say.
Yes, thank you.
That's
That's correct. Thank you. That's what I'm saying. It's just hard for me to help two people at once, right? Because some people changed it to something different. You with me now?
Mhm.
All right, so I'm sorry about that. Does everybody see that now? Is everybody good? All right, and I feel like, listen, that's my mistake because I should have fixed it. But I feel like you're smart enough to figure out that also. All right, at least that's the way I want you to be. All right. So now I'm all good, right? Is everybody good with that now? All right, so now let's knock out the statements and the reasons. All right, so number one, given, right? So now it's marked perfectly, all right? So step number two, someone want to chime in here? Joe, good. AC is congruent to AC. And we're going to go ahead and say that's the reflexive, okay?
Why are we already going?
Just because he said we don't have to, but we could. All right. What?
ACB is congruent
Angle.
to, angle ACB is congruent to DAC by.
No, wait a minute.
They actually jig it.
Right.
Is it CAB?
Yes. CAB. Yes. Hold on.
parallel lines are
Now start over without telling me.
So angle DCA
DCA.
is congruent to CAB.
Good.
They're alternate.
Good. That's perfect. Alternate interior angles congruent. All right, and now we mark it. All right, I should have marked it before. So that's 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now we can say what? Triangle.
ABC, CBA,
Angle what?
angle size.
Angle, side, right? Remember, the side is not between the two angles. Isaac, you with me on that? All right, minor mistake, but still okay. I just don't think that's that hard, guys. Especially if they would draw it properly. All right, I don't think it's that hard. What? Go ahead.
Okay, so I just
Now, most people, listen to me. She made a good mistake at first, right? She said, and listen, does everybody understand why those two are not congruent? Because those would have to deal with these lines being parallel. Do you understand that now? All right, what?
So I think just take their congruent because of the congruent.
Because we haven't proven two angles are congruent. Yeah, then we could definitely say those angles are congruent. Then you could, no, because you have to have a side. All right, one of the sides always has to be congruent. So now listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. If you wanted to, you could use the third angle theorem and then say angle side angle. Do I agree with that? Of course, I wouldn't do that because I would just make an extra step, right? And that's why I'm saying it's hard for me sometimes because you may have not seen that, right? So you can go off and do your own thing as long as everything works out and I can follow your logic, which is definitely hard for some of you. Yes. Is everybody clear on this now? All right. Go.
On number 5, I forgot the bisect.
It's just definition of bisect, right?
Yeah,
So if GE bisects DEF. Now, again, I was telling somebody last night, if you don't know if it looks true, it probably is true. So GE bisects this angle. So what must be true?
That E is the midpoint. No, D, E, G, and F, E, G.
DEG and FEG are congruent. That's what that means. All right, now listen, midpoint, again, has something to do with a segment.
What do you mean segment?
There's a difference between an angle and a segment. So if you say midpoint, there is no midpoint of an angle.
I'll have to be on the straight
Of a line, yes. A line segment.
line. Remember the two angles.
Right? You good on this? Ashton, did you understand what I just said?
I got it wrong, but
All right, what?
I know.
Okay, hold on. I'm right here doing this problem. Right? Now, the only other thing I need is to say what? Whoa, 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 whoa. No, I have to say first what? GE is congruent to GE, right? I have to say GE is congruent to GE. Now, can we say the triangles are congruent?
Angle, side.
By what?
Side. Angle.
Angle, angle, side. You then have to say the triangles are congruent by angle, angle, side. And then, after you say the triangles are congruent by angle, side, angle, you now can say that DG is congruent to FG by,
Cpctc.
yes, corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent.
Can I use side
I'm
angle
listening.
side? Can I use side angle side?
If you can tell me another side that's congruent. I'm listening. I'm trying to hear what.
I don't know how I do this.
That's what I'm saying. I want to hear it.
Well, okay. Never mind.
Now, again, I'm just saying it's possible.
I did it.
I think personally it's harder to show that a side is congruent. It's always easier to find the what? To find the angles. It's harder to find a side. So one that's used a lot is the reflexive property. All right?
I did angle sides.
Isn't that what we said?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I figured it's
Go.
So side angle side, you could say that GE bisects D and F. So DE is
Side angle side. How are you telling me that a side? Shh.
So GE bisects DEF. So DE is equal to FE.
No, that's not what it's saying. I think that's kind of what he was saying.
Yeah.
It's not bisecting a side. It says, listen to what I'm saying. GE bisects the what? Angle. It bisects the angle.
Okay.
If it bisects the angle, that means two angles have to be congruent. If it said, for example, GE bisects AE, is everybody with me? Then you would be talking about two sides that are equal. But it's saying it's bisecting an angle. All right? A little bit every day. Yes, sir. Go.
So how do you think the angles for the two angles that are congruent if they're on G?
So I think what you're asking me is kind of what she was saying. Now we've proven two angles are congruent, right? Then the third angle is congruent. Right? So now listen to me. This is now congruent to this.
No, but instead of doing,
You can't have angle, angle, angle. You can't prove triangles.
no, I'm not trying to
So now what are you trying to do after that?
I didn't do the congruent angles that you did. I did just that.
Well, how do I know that those are congruent? That's what I'm asking. And I'm not.
Because it's definitional bisect.
No, it doesn't say GE bisects DGF. Shh, let him think.
You can't just.
No, you with me? Even though it's true, right? We could now say, listen to me, we can now say, which is a little hard, but EG bisects DGF. Definition of bisect. right? Because it's kind of like the converse. If the angles are congruent, then the angle is what? Bisected. You with me? Right? What?
So I know they said this, but I want to say this one more time. So once you had that you prove that GED and FEG are congruent, you can just say third angle theorem to get FGE and EGE.
You can say
No, wait, that wouldn't be the line.
you can say now, once you have established that the triangles are congruent, all of the other parts that we haven't mentioned are now what? Congruent. By Cpctc. Once the triangles are congruent, all the parts are congruent. What? Go. Right? There's no reason to say third angle theorem anymore.
Yeah.
All right? Although what she said was accurate and what he said was accurate, if you show these angles are congruent, then these angles must be congruent by third angle theorem. Or we can say that the triangles are congruent by angle side, therefore those angles are congruent by Cpctc. And any other part of the triangle that's not there or not mentioned. Those corresponding parts. All right. Somebody else. Shh. Go. Yes, good. I'm listening.
Number 8.
All right, let's go to number 8. Bless you. All right. Was this set up properly?
I think.
CD, hold on. Now, here's what we're talking about. CD bisects AE. So on your figure, I would mark the figure as I read the given. Right? So we would say that what? AC, there you go. Perfect. That's what I would mark. Now it has already marked AB is parallel to CD. And then it has angle E. So I'm going to find angle E is congruent to BCA. There we have it. Beautiful. Now tell me what your question is.
Okay, I had a with A, B, and C, D. If the parallels aren't they automatically equal sides?
We talked about that a little bit yesterday, and I don't mean to say it like that, but I'm just trying to show you. Someone else asked me about parallels, and I drew this. This is parallel to that,
Oh, okay.
but they're not equal. You with me? And that, again, is a common question on SATs. All right? They draw parallel lines, and then they make them look equal when they don't have to be. All right? So that's the thing that I would stress on that. All right? It looks like they're equal, and they are equal after we prove it. All right? You're definitely going to prove that they're congruent. All right? So the thing that we would know from here, after I write the given down, and I have it all marked, right? Sam, what could I say? Shh. Go.
Angle A
Yes.
is congruent to angle BCD.
Exactly. But what are those?
Or
Corresponding. Very good. They're corresponding angles. Perfect. Corresponding angles. Is that good? Is that good for you? Okay. So now please tell me about the triangles.
They are equal
By what? By angle, side, angle. It's really simple. You use the information. Put it on the figure. And then it has to be one of those 4 choices. Now, can you tell me, is AB congruent to CD?
No. Well, yeah, they are, but you
Yeah, they are. We now can prove it. How can I have that?
by Cpctc.
Yes. Now, a lot of times kids don't really know what I'm saying, Ms. Stern. When I'm saying Cpctc.
corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent.
That's right. So I have said how many parts to this triangle are congruent right now? 3. Not all of them. Right? Now we've proven 3 parts of the triangle are congruent. So now what is true about all the other 3 parts? They are all congruent. They are congruent by corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. So AB, listen to me, corresponds to CD. Therefore, they are congruent. Angle D corresponds to angle B. Therefore, it is what? It is congruent. What?
Well, he was just asking for the triangles.
I understand that. We have.
Yeah, and then couldn't you just do angle side angle, and then just be done?
No, I think you're missing what I'm saying. He asked me earlier. Listen to what I'm saying now. He asked me earlier if BA is. He said BA is equal to DC.
No, it's not.
Well,
I
it is.
mean, it is, but it doesn't have to be.
Well, now it is. We've proven that it is.
Yeah, but you're not trying to prove that. You're trying to
But it's just
prove
know.
I know. Listen. He was asking me earlier.
Okay, you weren't solving.
No, he was asking me. He said to me, BA is obviously equal to DC. And I said, we can't say that right at this moment because we didn't have the triangles congruent. Now that we have the triangles congruent, that's when I got into my thing about the individual parts. We can now say without hesitation that BA is equal to DC and angle B is congruent to angle D. The light comes on every once in a while. All right. Again, I'm not trying to, I'm just trying to tell you, I've done it enough that I know where the problems are at. And if you assume BA is congruent to DC without proving the triangles are congruent, that's false. Right? But once you establish that the triangles are congruent, now what? Now everything is good. All right? So, now my question is, do I need to do another one? And I'm sorry I'm not writing it out, but I feel like you guys can just, it's 3 or 4 steps, you got it. All right, what? All right, let's take a look at 9.
You just need to change the D.
Thank you. So hold up a second. So tell me again, slow.
You just need to change for proof ABB. It needs to be ABC.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm definitely going to do it for you. I'm just saying that's where the mistake was when someone asked me this morning and I couldn't remember. All right, ABC. All right. Everything's. All right. So now, bless you. So let's mark things. AB is ED. So AB is congruent to ED, and I just think that's the easiest way to do it. And then angle C is congruent to angle F. And now I'm trying to figure out why triangle ABC is congruent to DEF. All right, Trey, I haven't heard from you, buddy. Tell me.
Angle ABC and angle DEF.
Hold on a second. DE what? Because they are what? Corresponding angles. And Isaac, did you ask me about this, Isaac?
Yeah.
Does that make sense now? Tell me.
Could I have done DNA?
Hold on a second. She asked me a question. You said, can I do DNA? What does that mean? Angle D?
Angle D.
Okay, so now, listen. I don't think I can say, and I'm going to look carefully, I don't think I can say that angle right here with this angle right here because it doesn't say AC is parallel to DF. If it said AC was parallel. Now listen, I'm trying to show you what's coming up. Right? I'm trying to show you what's coming up. All right? Because I personally think this would be great to prove why is AC. We're going to add something in here because Isaac, do you understand the triangles now? Angle. Yeah, angle, side. What's confused me is this right here. So hold up a second. All right. So that's angle, side, right? And the triangles are congruent. All right, Ms. Stern, what?
How are B and E
Okay, the reason why you're not seeing is because there's a bunch of other garbage in the way. right? So again, when you're having troubles, all right, you should extend that. You should extend that, and then you can extend this down to here.
Oh,
Right. And again, that's what I used to tell people who have a little bit of trouble seeing sometimes. Extend the lines, especially on your notability. It makes it much easier to see. Is everybody with me? All right. Now, listen, guys. I want your eyes up. All right. How much more time do we have? All right. So again, listen. We'll postpone today's assignment. All right. But I want you to pay attention to what I'm saying. I'm going to add something. All right. I want to now prove. All right. We did all this. We have the how much? All right. We have that the triangles are congruent. Now I'm trying, because she asked me a good question. I'm trying to now, instead of prove that, I'm trying to prove that AC is parallel to DF. I'm trying to prove AC is parallel to DF. All right. Now, how am I going to do that? Tell me.
So AE is a line because if angle B is congruent with angle E, then it has to be a line, straight line.
All right, I'm good with that.
So you have that. Then since angle F and angle C are the same, the lines that come off of them are going to be parallel.
Actually, I don't see what transversal are you talking about?
BCA and EFB, those angles are the same, so the lines that they're going to be creating are going to be the same.
Now look, listen. Now watch, just watch what I'm doing. All right, so I'm not sure if that's a reason, but what I'm trying to show you now is picture this just tilted a little bit.
Yeah.
Then they don't have to be parallel. True?
Yes, true, but the line that they're on is the same.
So what I'm saying now to you is this. You're saying the line that it's on, and that's not
AE, that line.
I know, but let me see, because you might be right, but I just can't see it. So this is the angle. Listen to me now, and I think this is a good way to do it. This is the angle that we're talking about. These two angles.
Yeah. So if those two
they're not
angles,
connected.
Yeah. So if those two angles are
You're missing the transversal. You're honestly missing the transversal. What is the transversal? Or tell me what you think.
Well, I think after you prove the triangles, you will get used to the Cpctc.
But yes, you can, but what's congruent though? I'm saying, listen to what you're saying. So it's not funny, all right? I'm not laughing. I'm trying to get you to show. I'm trying to tell you to show me why AC has to be congruent or has to be parallel to DF. Why?
Oh, parallel.
Parallel, yes. Come on, pay attention. I said that's the deal. All right. I want someone to try to tell me why they're parallel. All right. Why are they parallel? Why? No, it has nothing. Listen, when you want to prove lines are parallel, you have to say something.
Oh, this.
Go what?
The converse of.
But what is the corresponding angle?
It's ACC.
No. One more try.
Would it be converse of alternate?
But you have to tell me what are the corresponding angles. We haven't even said certain angles are congruent. What?
Well, if B and C are BC and EF are parallel into the same line that they go to, then that.
Oh, because
I'm not understanding that.
isn't it?
Yeah,
No, what?
Lines that are parallel are equal to the same.
No, tell me.
From the Cpctc, yeah, that thing.
Yes.
The angle A and angle D have to be congruent.
Right.
And so-
Right. So listen for a second. This angle right here, right? This angle right here, even though she didn't say it properly, I'll give her credit. That angle and that angle, FDE is congruent to angle A by Cpctc.
Yeah, no matter what way you do
Right.
it, it has the transversals and you have the two lines.
Now, listen. Now we have said, here's what I was trying to tell you. Please follow along so you can see what I'm trying to tell you. This angle formed there. This angle formed here. Now has the same transversal. The other one did not. You see what I'm saying? Right? Almost. So now we have the transversal formed by the angles. These angles right here are now the what?
Corresponding.
Those are the corresponding angles.
Forces.
Right? So you would say that CAB is congruent to FDE by CPCTC. Then you would say that AC is parallel to DF by
Because if the two lines are cut by a transversal, so
the converse
of the
corresponding
corresponding
angle
Postulate.
postulate, not the theorem.
Yay.
Yes.
Why can't you prove that they're parallel also? Because if B, C, and EF are parallel, and
Yeah.
they both go through the same line AE, then
Yeah,
AC and DF have to be the same.
So what theorem is that? Shh, shh. I'm listening. That's not a theorem. And that's what I was trying to tell her. Listen, I'm not, it's a little, but listen to what I'm saying. I can just take this, is what I was trying to show you, and I can tilt it one way.
But then the line.
But then
would
it's
be
not, because
straight.
AE is
And then
line.
BC and EF would be parallel.
No. You're not.
AE connected to
I
There needs to be CC a line going through CF.
No, because if you tilt one
No,
of them,
so you
then
have-
BC and EF.
Yes. I got you. I see what you're saying.
But
You should make it a bottom one.
But, okay, so look right here. Shh. So what if I did this? So what if I did this?
For what
That's
line
a
is that?
different
So this is AC now. Shh.
You can't do that. 'Cause it's a different
'Cause
I
there's
know,
different-
that's what I'm
And
saying.
it's not
You have to
parallel.
prove that the triangles are congruent.
Isn't it different?
Shh,
a different
just
angle?
once. Let me fix him, then I'll fix you.
Then wouldn't the angle C wouldn't be congruent with the other, like that triangle?
That is my point. That is my point. If this, I'm agreeing with you. If I change the figure, the triangles are no longer congruent, which means these are not parallel. I'm now proving, because I proved that those are congruent, I now can say that this angle is congruent to this angle, which are corresponding angles, which makes these lines now parallel. I'm trying to say, if I didn't prove the triangles are congruent, if I did not prove the triangles congruent, I could draw this from here to here, and they would no longer be parallel. It'd be the same exact figure. You agree with me? Again, listen, I'm not giving anybody a hard time. I'm honestly trying to show each one of you why you're correct or maybe incorrect, or we see things differently. You might be correct because I don't see what you see. But I'm trying to demonstrate how, unless you prove those triangles are congruent, I can draw the line that I drew up here, and now they're no longer parallel. Go.
So I understand, like, totally get the way that you said, but the way that he said it, the way that I said it, is that if that line, AE, that's a line, right? Okay, and there's two parallel lines coming off of it. The angles coming off of BC and EF, that's going to have to create two parallel lines.
I'm not sure I agree. I'm drawing
And you can
that.
turn that
I'm
any way you want.
trying to show you here.
Well, no, you don't have that yet. You're trying to prove that, right? Right? So you would make two parallel lines first, coming off of that first line.
I'm doing that.
Okay.
I'm trying.
Okay.
From here to here. That is parallel to that.
Okay. So if you have a line,
Just let me finish drawing. Those lines right here are not parallel.
because the angles are the same. The angle in the
Exactly.
corner, is it the same? So yeah, so if the angle C is congruent to angle F, therefore the lines have to be parallel because they come off of two parallel lines.
No,
Like how it can't be anything else,
yeah,
right?
no. I think what?
What she's talking about, for Alyssa, for a way the triangles, you have to prove that they're congruent before you do a way. Because there's no way to prove that those lines are parallel before you.
Well, before we had already proved that angle C
I
was
know before we proved it.
You want a whole different problem.
Right? No. I think I understand what you're saying now, but I'm saying if I don't know any of the other stuff is true.
okay. If you don't, okay.
You see what I'm saying,
Yeah.
right? If once we establish, that's what I was saying. Once we establish the congruent triangles, it's easy.
Yeah.
But if we don't establish the triangles are congruent, we can't automatically say that. What?
But you can't tell if they're corresponding angle A and angle D.
Whatever that one was.
Yeah, D. That you can't tell that they're corresponding unless you find the triangles.
Exactly.
So you
Exactly.
can't find out they're parallel at all.
Right. And I'm just simply trying to draw, because we could, and I didn't do a very good job, but look at this. Maybe this might, and I think you understand what I'm saying. But if I draw something parallel here, the triangles aren't congruent. You see what I'm saying? Like this angle is the same as this angle,
Yeah.
but the triangles aren't congruent.
But the lines that make them are on the side.
But the lines that make them on the side are. No, this. I'm just trying to say.
They're not even triangles anymore, but
Yes,
the
they are
lines-
actually. There's this
Well,
triangle.
yeah, they're still triangles.
There's this
yes.
triangle right here and this
And then
triangle
the
right there.
triangle at the
I'm
bottom.
just saving
But the
myself some
lines-
time instead of having to draw it down.
Yeah, so the lines on the side, they're the same line, but they're still parallel, right? They have the same angle. I mean, here, if I could say this. So, by the time that you have two straight lines and you have an angle.
Lines are
angle-
straight. You keep
Yeah.
saying straight line.
Yeah, so you have a line.
Okay.
That's side. Then you have two parallel lines. Side, side. Then you have an angle. Side,
But I
side,
don't
angle.
know that those sides are the same. We can't say that
You know
A,
that they're
B,
parallel, right?
we don't
B, C,
know-
E, F are parallel. You know that.
but you keep telling me things are, you keep telling me this, right?
No, I'm saying AE, not A, B, and D. AE.
What does AE have to do with it? It's not even the triangle.
No, it's the line that two triangles are going to come off of.
So a triangle comes off of a line.
Yeah. We have that. There you go. It's a parallel line. Now, if you make a line with an angle of 33, they're both going to be parallel off of that side. They have to be.
But the triangles don't have to be congruent.
What?
But the triangles don't have to be congruent.
Third generation, no, but their lines have to be third generation. And you know that the lines are not parallel. They have to be. Well, we just were like,
That's our
that's what it says, yeah, and it said like millennials they just turned 18, so now we're like the new generation, and everybody gets, you know, like if they had their chance now.
Yeah, we don't have an
So what are we?
We're generation Z, we're good.
No,
No, we're not Gen.
That's right.